So I said to her, babe, you've really got to work on your halo effect.
Hi, this is Laura Collett, and you are listening to Season 3 of Eventing Weekly with Mitch and Braden.
Mitch, Braden, producer Ali, and Samantha Lissington.
This is my wife.
Oh my God.
Just a little something we put together for you there.
Oh, that's so good. Samantha Lissington, my wife. G'day, mate.
G'day, mates.
Hey, how are you, babe?
Yeah, good, thanks, babe.
Thanks for doing this for us. We're bloody excited to sit down with you and unpack some of the last few weeks and few years of your life. And we will get into that. But how we always like to start is Mitchell does this amazing job at setting the scene. And as he does that, just Mitch, as you're prepping to set the scene, I'm just going to reach into the Yeti cooler. I'm going to grab out some Hawkstones and I'm going to crack a few bevies. So
you do that.
Throw to you, mate.
And I'll do this. So, you know, Ali, we've had a bit of a drive down here today.
We did have a bit of a track, but it was, I'd say, worth it.
Wandered into the wonderful county of Wiltshire.
Yeah, bro.
I believe.
Yep.
Down in Wiltshire. We've come up to your guys' fabulous little yard. Buttermere Farm? Or was it just Buttermere?
Yep, Buttermere Farms, Ballyack Stables, bizarrely, but yeah.
What's that?
Ballyack Stables is the actual address. But yeah, Buttermere Estate is where we're at.
Where does that come
I
from?
am not too sure, actually.
Interesting. Anyway, what did we get up to today? About 26 degrees. We're sat out here. There's not a cloud in the sky.
Beautiful.
Braden's pouring us some nice cold Hawkstones.
How's
ASMR?
That is really
Is that good ASMR?
That is really, really good.
Nice.
And I think we should get into it.
Well, just before we do, 1 second, because the event and cliche we used this week.
Yeah, I haven't heard that before.
You really got to work on your halo effect.
Yeah. Is that a Beyonce thing?
Well, no, not quite. What it is we were at Le Moulin in the weekend.
Yeah.
And I was catching up with a good mate and a big fan of the show, Nadia Minder.
Oh, yeah.
And we were chatting eventing cliches, and at the same time we were watching the dressage. We were saying how great it must be, when you get to that level of of profile that you just get marked a little bit better than the rest of everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we've had this conversation.
You know what I mean? It's that halo effect. Ooh, look, it's William Foxbit. And I can say that because he's retired.
Exactly.
You know, and you just shave a couple of marks off here and there.
Here and there, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that, but my fear is that by the time I get to that point, we'll have AI judging, and then actually I'm never going to reap the rewards of it anyway.
AI judging.
You think that's a thing coming in?
Yeah, I reckon at some point. Well, it's coming in other sports anyway, so it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I've heard it in boxing. They've introduced it,
Really?
or they are introducing it. They're going to start with an AI judge that doesn't count, and then it's going to be one of 3 judges, I think, and then I don't know. They've got a progression plan. Apparently,
Don't know if I like it.
No, I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I was hoping that eventing would be the one thing in this world that would be not able to be infiltrated by AI.
Well, surely there's some pretty simple use. Where can you see it,
I'd
babe?
love it to come in for like centre lines, halts, and rainbacks.
Okay, sure.
Things that we sometimes get wrong, as in like number of steps back, or centre lines, which is basically symmetry, or halts, which is symmetry again. And I think that actually would be a good starting point, because you know those elements shouldn't be that subjective. And I think we do end up with quite a lot of subjectivity in the sport.
I love it when you talk technical. Oh.
Stop it.
And there she goes.
When he Greg James's spray bottle. Calm down.
Just a little insight into the workings of inner workings of my wife, or as you called her. Have you got this thing still?
Yeah.
This is my wife.
It's so good.
We thought you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, I really do. And we got lots to unpack tonight, babe. So we should get into the 10 questions. We've been working hard all day, all week, all month, prepping these questions, getting them lined up. And the first one of the evening is with Mitchell Thomason.
It is. Sam, you've had a bit of a whirlwind of a last month.
Yeah.
Can you just talk us through it a little bit and give us a bit of your point of view of what it's looked like? Because from out here, it's looked like it's been pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, sure. It has been a whirlwind. I think we started on a bit of a low, actually, at badminton or just pre-badminton. Sooty didn't make it, and Charlie, I didn't have enough control to complete cross-country. We'd had owners fly over all the way from New Zealand, Pip and Sharon, so that was disappointing to not be able to deliver when they'd flown halfway across the world. So, but we picked ourselves up, regrouped, and yeah, basically since then, we've nailed everything, I think.
You've been on a run, eh?
We have been on a run. So started with Bicton, and Charlie rerouted there. Well, actually, before that was Belsay, and Qantas won the advanced.
Aston, babe.
Up at Belsay. Oh, Aston the Walls. We had an intermediate win. And then, Belsay. And we had a couple of good runs in the 4-star there on other horses, and then went to Bicton, had a really good run there, got second to the Great London 52 in the 4-star short there on Charlie, Lord Seekenig.
Yes.
And
is
then,
that how you say it, is it? I've always wondered the exact
We actually-
pronunciation.
Why haven't you asked me?
I thought I'd just
A little bit of mystery in your life.
Yeah, we actually asked a German in Germany last week, and clarified that was how it was said, and it actually means Lord Sea King, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lord Sea King.
Lord Sea King.
Yeah.
Like Sea King as in King of the Sea?
I guess so, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Lord King of the Sea.
Yeah.
That's quite a title.
Almost
for
like
a horse.
Yeah, just like King Prince Charles.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Anyway, sorry.
And then we had Royal Jump.
Yes.
It was quite a big call to go there because we've obviously had a lot of success at Mill Street the last couple of years. But we thought we'd try something new. It was just outside of Paris, and that couldn't have gone much better than it did.
Yeah, I heard the golf was really good.
The golf was good. And the event was great, and we ended up on the podium on 4 horses.
Yeah. And you've cleaned up a world record.
Yeah, apparently so.
On the way.
Apparently so.
Seen it on 1 or 2 social media.
Yeah,
social
social
media
outlets.
accounts.
Once someone figured that out and put that graphic together, that caught
Everyone's like,
fire.
oh, yeah.
World record.
Okay.
Yeah.
World record.
we'll get
Hello.
on that.
Yeah, and then I made it on I think News Talk ZB in New Zealand.
And
Oh, yeah.
Quite a big achievement.
And
Who's
radio-
running that these days? Big Daddy, you'd know that, wouldn't you?
News Talk ZB. We've
Yeah.
got Matt Heath on the afternoons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's gone over from Radio Hodaki.
Yeah.
And you've still got Mike Hosking.
Yeah.
So just the
Classic.
OGs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard Radio New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So first, second, and third in the 4 long, and
Yep.
second in the 4 short.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. And that was a little test run to see if Sooty was up to going to Lamoolan.
Yes.
So we ticked that box and then headed off to Lamoolan, and basically everything pretty much went as I'd ever hoped it could.
Yeah.
And we finished second there.
Yeah. That is bloody cool.
Yeah.
So I was out working on the weekend, and Lamoolan started, I think it might have been 7:30 our time, AM, cross country.
Yeah. What first one was 8:30 a.m.
8:45 I think
German
it
time,
was.
wasn't it?
Yeah. So I couldn't watch it from the start because I was working. I managed to get onto the scores, and I saw, I don't know, maybe 10 or so eliminated or retired, and there was like 15 horses gone. I was like, Braden,
Yeah.
what the hell are they doing out there?
Yeah, boy.
What is going on? And you just calm as like, there's just one issue
Yeah.
going
Well, it
on
was
in the arena.
in the arena. Yeah. It wasn't it wasn't carnage. I think I said it's not
No,
carnage.
yeah.
They just.
But there's a lot of pissed off riders.
Yes, that's what I said. It's not carnage. Just a lot
Yeah.
of pissed off riders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that fair, babe?
Yeah. And it was interesting because I didn't even walk a 2-stride in that
Yeah.
line. And I ended up doing 2.
Yeah.
But it
I was
walked-
going to say, could you talk
Yeah,
us through how
it
you were coming up
walked
to it?
1 all day long.
Yeah.
And I think the year previous had walked longer.
Yes.
So then everyone was quite confident on the distance.
Yes.
But then, it did. It just caused
When you
carnage.
got there, it just.
Yeah, and a variety of problems as well. People underdoing it, maybe underdoing the canter a little bit, and then not having enough oomph for the 1 stride versus coming in with a lot of canter, and then you miss
Yes.
the angle and the turn. So it wasn't really. I personally didn't think there was any one mistake. It was just actually
Yeah.
catching a lot of people out in various ways at
Yeah.
the same combination. And it was one of those that I actually still was a bit undecided as I was going out the start box, and I was just going to see how it went. And decided to do the nippy little 2 strides, and cracked on.
It worked well.
You know me, Mitch. I am quick to give advice on the podcast, but
Absolutely.
would I ever give advice to Sam cross-country morning? Absolutely not.
No way.
But I've been sitting watching the live stream all morning while she's out walking and sorting it out, and I'd watched rider after rider through that combination, and I had a few ideas.
Oh yeah,
for sure. And I was, I did a bit of hole through my tongue not to say anything. But then as Sam went out, she's like, all right, I'm going to go get on the horse. I stayed and watched a little more, and they cut to Andrew Nicholson.
Yeah, you've sent me this.
They cut to Andrew Nicholson, and I still don't know if you actually watched it, babe.
I did, yeah.
You did? Mm. They said, we're going to get Andrew's opinion of the arena, and I'm like, brilliant. Phone out, video the live stream, the TV and the lorry. So I video that, and he gives this, amazingly Andrew insight into how to ride it simply. And so I sent that off to you and Caitlin, didn't I? And did you watch it?
Yeah, I did watch it. Yeah. So it's, I don't think I followed his advice exactly, probably. But I sort of, in those instances, still like to absorb all of the information, then make my own decision. So I'd always rather have it than not.
Yeah, totally.
Nice. And so cross country went to plan, but you were watching you. That was some of the best cross country that I've had to enjoy watching you ride. Can you just talk?
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, wow, it was. I think again, I said to you in the morning, this course is built for you and Soot. It's. I'm not going to go into technical because that's not my strength. But maybe you can just tell us, how was it riding around Soot? And maybe do you want to just give us a little background on Soot, paint the picture.
Well, so Sooty, Pip and I bought him as a 5-year-old from New Zealand. He was bred by Golden Grove Stud, and he came to me to sell. And funnily enough, with the first couple of rides, I think he had a bit of a sore back. He needed his teeth done. I think he bucked me off. And didn't have an enjoyable first few rides. But as soon as we sort of ticked those boxes, horse health, everything, then suddenly there was this little horse underneath me that I could not give up. And so we got to the end. I think he was only with me for maybe 5 or 6 weeks in the goal of doing the young event horse class. And then I was like, I've got to have this little guy in my stable. So, bought him off Sheena Ross, and then I guess the rest is history. I've loved him the whole way through. Fitted me like a glove. We've had a great partnership. I struggled with my cross country riding for a little bit. I felt like I was really gung ho as a young rider, and then maybe got a little bit cautious in producing these really lovely horses and running them quietly and trying to do a good job and be a professional, and lost a bit of the mongrel that comes with cross country riding. So I've fought to get that back in the last 18 months, and have been getting some lessons with Ros Cantor, which has been really helpful because Ross sort of explains that she's not a natural cross-country rider. So then she uses systems and processes to learn and to ride, which really fitted me. That's my personality, is systems and processes and analysing. So I was struggling sort of learning from people who are naturals, or more natural than I am, but really clicked with Roz's way of going, and so was able to put all of those tools into practice. And it is, riding cross country is so much easier than it used to be, and that sounds crazy, but it used to be really hard, and now it finally feels like it's much more enjoyable and a much easier job. But in saying that, Lamula was full on, and you really felt like you were going fast the whole time, and it felt like a short format. I think Laura said it felt like a short format for 11 minutes. And just had to crack on everywhere. And Sooty wouldn't have the biggest stride. He's small, he's wee, and we don't have the same top speed as other horses. So you kind of
perfect for a little
nippy course. And you kind of have to stay at pace everywhere and use minimal setup and those kinds of things to get anywhere near the time, because you don't have a way to make it up other than that.
Well, it was bloody good, babe. And then you've just mentioned how small he is, but he came out the next morning, fit as a fiddle, and I don't know if he touched one of the show jumps.
No, he didn't. He's so cute.
How big do you reckon he is? Genuinely, because we've joked before.
I know. I think he's probably 15.3, but I guess
with a big wither.
Well, well, the other thing about him is he's small every way. He's short, really short coupled. So if you're standing next to another horse, you're not only shorter, but you're shorter in length as well. And
Yeah.
he is only wee.
But he's not short in heart.
Not
Oh.
short in
Big
heart.
heart.
Big heart.
Big heart.
Yeah.
Shout out Sooty. He's had some real limelight in this little
Yeah.
segment,
Hasn't he?
but doesn't he deserve it?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
Nice. Just before we leave this section, we breezed over Royal Jump with the 1, 2, 3 there.
Yeah.
What is it about that weekend of the year? Because
I know. I have started wondering that, but I'm not going to lean into that
Are we not?
because
No, because we can
because
win
it's not
anytime.
luck, right?
Yeah.
You know, we don't.
That's also Mill Street weekend. The last 2 years at Mill Street, you've done the 1, 2 and
Yeah. Also, lots of podiums.
over there. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that's a bloody good weekend.
That's the weekend for the year.
That's a good
Yeah.
weekend. Yeah.
I mean, we'll take it when it keeps coming round, but
Yeah.
equally, I would like to think that it's because of our hard work and effort, not because of a particular week.
Sure. How good. Have we done enough indulging in the recent month,
Yeah.
Mitchell?
I think
Ali?
so.
I think so.
You enjoyed
Yeah.
that?
It's been
Yeah.
a good one.
I've just been absorbing.
Yeah.
It's been great.
It's a lot.
Got my ginger beer.
Feel free to jump in whenever you
Yeah.
like. But we will move on to question 2. And question 2 is quite a change of pace, babes.
Okay.
So what we've decided to do tonight is we wanted to start by talking about the recent and painting a picture of the recent success, but then maybe going right back and sort of plotting our way through. So going back to the start, and then we'll build our way back to Buttermere by the end of the 10 questions.
Okay.
So the second question is with me, and the question is, can you tell me about Scotland Island?
Yeah. So Scotland Island is a little island in Pittwater in Australia, Sydney. And that's where I spent a lot of time in my childhood. Mum and Dad were living on Scotland Island, so I used to catch the ferry to school.
Oh, yeah.
Used to walk down to the local wharf, jump on the ferry, go to school, and then on the way back home after school, you'd jump in the water off the wharf and catch the wake of the ferry as it cruised off in your your
That's
school
a
clothes.
childhood, isn't
Better
So
living, everybody.
yeah, that was my childhood in Pittwater.
Nice. And so your parents, as you mentioned there, Nan and Dale, you
Big
know,
fans of the show.
huge fans. Shout out.
Big fans.
Shout out. They built this life for you guys in Australia, but that's not where they started.
No, they are from South Africa. So they were over there for many, many years, and life started getting a bit scary over there. So made the big move to go to Australia and decide to have kids and raise a family in Australia at the time.
And so how long were you? So you were born in Australia, and then
Yeah.
how long were you there and on Scotland Island?
So I think we were there for until we had an adventure in the middle. But when my sister was 6 and I was 8, we went sailing around the South Pacific
Oh,
for 2
yeah.
years, which was pretty cool. But
I act like I sound surprised.
Yeah, it's actually you're leaning into the next part of the story. So should we go to Mitch for question 3?
okay.
Yeah. Which the question is not really a question, but I've just got the word written down in front of me. Nangana.
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 Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Nangana.
What is
Yeah.
Nangana?
Nangana. Do you know what? This is really funny, but the word Nangana, I'm pretty sure means sea queen.
way.
No, it
Yeah,
don't. What?
that's bizarre,
In
isn't
like
it?
Zulu or something.
No,
Afrikaans, sorry.
in
Probably German.
Australian. What's the
An Aboriginal.
yes,
Aboriginal.
that's the one. Sorry for
Wow.
mind
Is
blank.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's kind of funny considering we were
Yeah,
just talking
Sea
about
King.
Lord Seeking. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes,
Crazy.
no, she was a 53-foot double ender. So
What
really
the hell
old,
does that mean?
old school boat.
Oh, don't worry.
Old school boat.
Old school boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Very slow, which
Yes.
didn't give us a lot of bragging rights in terms of the yachty kids.
Yes.
Because we'd all set off from, I don't know, Tonga on our way to Fiji,
Yeah.
and they'd arrive significantly earlier than us.
How many other kids are we trying to brag to here? Like, this feels like it would be a very niche
It is
kind of thing, but you're
niche,
talking
but
like
it's
there
your
are
whole life.
a whole
you
bunch
know?
of other
No,
people
there is
doing it
because
as well.
you follow the winds, you follow
Yes.
the weather, and so there's a bit of a route that you would traditionally go around the South Pacific Islands. And off the top of my head, there was probably maybe a group of 10 kids or something.
Yeah.
And, 3 or 4 families that we'd consistently catch up with A memorable one is the Maloneys. So the Maloneys, Jim and Loretta, had 3 kids, and they were also sailing the same route as us. And a couple of their kids, well, actually, two of their kids ended up being Olympians for sailing. Andy Maloney and Alex Maloney. So yeah, they were a cool family.
Yes, so naturally you went down the horse riding route.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does, I don't know if you can remember off the top of your head, what does that route kind of look like leaving from Australia? Like, where are you heading off to?
So from memory, Australia, up the coast, and
Yes.
then to New Zealand.
Yes.
Travel around New Zealand. Mum and Dad fell in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
Then Tonga, Fiji, New Caledonia,
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to New Zealand.
And, you did, and, that was,
Back to Australia, sorry, yeah.
and that was a 2-year journey
years,
when you were 8 years old.
Yeah.
Mad.
Crazy. Yeah. Did you know that, Ellie?
No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But there's a book about a boy and whose family does that, and then he gets like washed up on a desert island and lives there for years and years. And that's all I can think about. So I just think it's a bit
Did
scary.
you meet him?
Yeah. Did you see this guy on your
Sailed
travels?
past him.
Yeah, it's a wild, it's a non-traditional upbringing to say the least.
Yeah.
Why?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whose big idea
fair.
is this? Is this Nan? Is it Dale? Is it Nan and Dale?
It's Dale. It's
Yeah.
Dale's idea with
Yes.
Mum's support.
Yeah.
And then Mum loves it along the way.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And it's not a complete, out the blue idea. Dale, of course, is a yachty.
Yeah.
And did his national service as a yacht instructor, didn't he?
Yeah.
A sailing instructor.
Yeah, sailing instructor, and I think was a national champion for lasers back in South Africa.
Oh,
so
yeah.
has a fairly
Extensive.
hefty background.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course, Mum and Dad know everything at that age anyway. But yes, we were always in good hands.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, that leads on nicely to question number 4, and it's with me. Mitch's word was Nangana. Mine is Northland.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell me about life in Northland?
Yep. So prior to moving to New Zealand, we were still in Australia, and I was like 10. And Mum and Dad wanted to move over to New Zealand because they'd met a couple that were avocado orchardists, and they were picking avocados in New Zealand in the summer and sailing around the South Pacific in the winter, and they thought that sounded like a pretty cool way to do things. So they decided to move, but they had to convince us, of course. And we had friends, and do we really want to go to New Zealand? They said they'd buy us a pony if we went to New Zealand. So
here
then
we go.
There it is.
that was a quick yes from us.
Yep.
But of course, we knew nothing. There was no real horse history in the family or anything like that. And so the very first pony we bought was a 2-year-old. You can't even take a pony to Pony Club until it's 5.
So clever.
Yeah.
And-
Without knowing it, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And so the mistakes began, and they kept on rolling. But we muddled our way through and joined the local pony club, who started to teach us what we ought to be doing or not doing, or give us a few pointers. And that was Manu Pony Club, and then eventually represented Kerry, Northland, etc. But I remember going to the local pony club champs and watching the A1 or DC class, which is essentially Metre 5 championship pony club champs, and feeling like if they were really cool. They were cool people. She had a really long plait, and she just looked like a cool person. And I thought if I could ever, go around here, then I would have made it in life and I could die happy. So,
Was that the 105?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So everything else is a bonus now.
Perfect. And Nikki?
Nikki,
Yeah.
So my sister was also at Pony Club. She was way better than I was. Had much more feel and a lot more discipline.
Yes.
And I think I remember even saying this to someone at the time and saying, Nikki even puts boots on for every ride. Like that was something outrageous at the time. So yeah. But in the end, I carried on, and she went down other paths.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nikki, shout out Nikki.
Shout out Nikki.
Shout out Nikki.
New baby Finn Franks.
Ah, there we go.
I'm now an auntie.
I was hesitant because I was like, are we allowed to break that news?
Well, I don't know.
It's
We
not
better ask.
embargoed
We'll
anymore.
ask. All right. So,
Yeah.
so if you're hearing this,
Yeah, then we
then we were.
Yeah.
and if you're not, then you'll
y-
never know.
You'll never know. Yeah. but if we have,
Yeah.
can I just add in there, Nicola Franks,
What
one
a
of,
legend.
one of the greatest.
Ever.
One of the greatest. And then she went and only found Dan Franks, who
Yeah.
is equally
Yeah.
one of the greatest. So can I just do a personal shout out, Nick and Dan Franks, because they're probably the biggest supporters of us and me personally. So
Yeah.
Lots of
God
love.
knows why, but shout out to them.
And to Finn Felton Franks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Triple F, baby.
Oh, yeah.
How good, eh?
I like that.
How good.
He's going to be
Where-
that's a famous name,
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
If it's not, no worries. No worries. We're going to love you anyway. But, with Finn Felton Franks, you've got the best shot.
That's got like All Black written all over it. Something like that.
Something
I was
Isn't
thinking like author, but we can go down.
All that?
He'd
yeah,
be like FF
actually.
Franks. How good is that?
It's so
Ooh,
good.
yeah.
It's brave, it's bold, it's bloody good.
Yeah.
So, how good.
So much alliterations going on
How
right now.
good. All right. Well, I'll take us... Oh, no, I've done that one. So, Mitch, you're going to take us to question 5.
Which is, weirdly enough, just another word. Have we written any
No.
questions? And my word is Matangi.
Matangi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we spent the next era of our life, basically was my university era. Moved to Hamilton, to Waikato to study business.
Okay.
And I did a BMS, Bachelor of Management Studies in marketing and finance. And whilst doing that was writing. I initially rented, and then when the whole stuff continued on, Mum and Dad thought maybe we could buy a property and I would pay them to stay there. So then that ended up being my base, and we bought in a little village called Matangi, and it was such a cool little base. It was only 10 acres, but we made the most of it. An old house there that we lived with the grooms. It was all very communal,
Yeah.
and sheds for stables, and yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah.
Into Big Daddy.
Yeah, I was just going to say it was
Yeah.
about the time that
Yeah.
you came in, babe.
And it was. And, geez, just thinking back, we were renting that property at Matangi. And, man, I've just graduated university, have
Yeah.
no business acumen, and haven't gained much since. But but start dating you, and you're bloody paying, I can't remember, but it was like hundreds or thousands of dollars a month to rent this property from your parents,
Yeah.
and then making it work. I was like, what the hell have I, what the hell
Yeah,
sort of
what have I
world?
stumbled
She's
upon?
like, early 20s. I'm like, how are we making this work? Where's the
Yeah.
cash flow coming?
Yeah,
And this is, in my opinion at the time, I was like, this is a lot of money to be like, how are we doing this? But
Yeah.
you're making it work.
I mean, we did get mates rates from Mum and Dad,
course.
but at
But
the same time,
it wasn't
was
a free ride.
No, it wasn't. And you ask how it works, and I still to this day tell you I don't know how our business is going because I'm not entirely sure. And you just make it work, don't you? So, yeah.
Which actually brings me to another fan question, which we've got lined up. And Ali, could we actually play the second one that we've got?
Oh, you're going to
lined
mix it up?
Yeah, we're kind
He's
of
freeballing it.
I
Well,
think I know the
freeballing.
one you mean.
yeah.
Hi there. I'm a short-time listener of the pod. Over a reasonably long period of time. I've been dipping in and out from the start. Love what you guys are doing. First-time caller. Long-time fan of the boys. And, of course, the woman too. Hello, Sam. Hello, Ginny. Hello, Ali in Studio B doing the Lord's work. Thank you for your service. Hey, while I've got you, I've actually just got a quick question for Braden. I understand you come from a background of high-level sport yourself, representing our great nation of Aotearoa, New Zealand, on the futsal court. I imagine there's not a lot of transferable skills between the court and, say, eventing arenas, your dressage, your five-star cross-country tracks. And I know you'd bring something to the table, but what I want to know is maybe top 3 things you bring to the table,
Top 3.
in your opinion, to what could only be described as New Zealand's next sports power couple, yourself and Sam. So Yeah, that was just on my mind anyway. So thanks, mates. Love what you do, and give them a taste of kiwi from me, eh? Fantastic.
Oh my
Holy
God.
shit. Where did that come from?
Holy shit.
Dwayne Signal.
Oh my God.
Dwayne
Have-
Signal. I think what everyone has just realised is the inspiration of our podcast. Where has
Yeah.
it come? And it's come. The whole thing
There
has
it
come
is.
from my good friend Dwayne Signal. That's just Dwayne.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, that is
whole-
who he is.
That whole voice note.
It sounds like it could be you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I am a love letter to Dwayne. I am an if imitation
A
is
pastiche.
if imitation is the greatest form of flattery,
Mhm.
then that is what this is. Dwayne was the best man at our wedding,
Oh, nice.
and he's just probably the greatest man I know.
and he can chat.
He is.
So I think this is Dwayne's show.
That would have just been nonchalant on his way
Yeah.
to solve New Zealand's housing
Yeah.
crisis.
Literally, he's sent this through, and he's been like, I've just recorded this in the back of the van holder, Olga, at work.
Yeah, you're like,
Just-
no, that's
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, I was like, no, bro, that is exactly,
Okay.
like, it's amazing.
All right, to get to
So
his
here we are.
question. So the top three things I'm bringing to the table. Hey, listen, what he did say is transferable skills. Are the arenas the same? And to that, Dwayne, I say the arenas are the same. We're talking futsal. It's a 40 by 20.
Okay.
Okay. Mitch, do you want to tell me what a small dressage arena is?
35 by 25.
No, isn't it 40?
No, it's 40 by 20.
Probably by 40
40
by, yeah. I was
40
just-
by 20. so to start with, I've got the angles down.
yeah. Okay.
It's like, when you're playing on your home court, you know the angles, you know the court,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
the areas.
Yeah.
That's why I lean towards dressage
Yes.
as my strength, is because it's just so familiar.
Mhm.
I'm at home, she's down at sea, doing passage, and do you do passage?
Not doing passage, no.
Well, she's down at sea, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's like being in
Yeah.
the corner. You're going to do a block, and you're going to set a screen, hit it to the back post.
Mhm.
So number one,
As she's getting ready to do that extended trot across the diagonal.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I can see that coming.
Triangles.
triangles.
It's
You do
all
triangles as well.
triangles.
Yeah, so you know futsal more than I know of anything. And to move things along, so that would be one, obviously,
Yes.
technical skills.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was to think of two others that I bring to the table, one would be vibes.
Yes.
Mm.
That's probably my
Yeah.
main. We run a business. We've got currently 4 girls here working.
Mhm.
These guys are doing stupid hours,
Mm-hmm.
and they are pushing themselves beyond the limit, and working hard. So I sort of see my role as, if I can be around, keeping the vibe high, whether that's through a stupid joke or bringing some food or buying coffees or whatever that is. I
Yeah.
think that's probably the role, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morale builder, vibe master.
Yeah.
That's
You're
it.
trying to be like the fun uncle kind of vibe.
That's it.
It's like, holy shit, Big Daddy's here.
Yeah. I'm the personality hire for the eventing business.
The rent a crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So good.
But genuinely, because I believe that high performance is people, like, it's repeating quality performance, and to do that you need people to want to keep turning up, and the best way for people to want to keep turning up is that they enjoy it. If you've got staff turnover or people buggering off all the time, those are all distractions.
Mm-hmm.
So the more we can make this a fun, enjoyable journey, the more people
Atmosphere,
keep
yeah.
turning up,
Mm.
and we just keep getting those reps in, eh?
Mm.
So that's it, vibes. And just probably third would, if vibes were for the team, probably just try and be a husband for you, really.
Yeah.
Just like,
How does that work on the futsal court?
oh, is that what I'm doing? Transferable skills from futsal. Oh, shit. No. Well,
Sam, you've watched a bit of futsal. Would you say
Well-
there's anything else that he
Well,
brings from the court?
when we were at Royal Jump,
Yes.
we were really busy having 3. So we had 3 horses in the 4
Mhm.
long, and there was only, I think, 13 in the class. So
Yes.
we are, out on cross country doing
Yeah.
half an hour's worth of riding in not a very long space of time. And so we had a lot of roles dedicated. We
Yes.
had Martz and Neil as
camera 1 and camera 2.
camera 1
Yeah,
and camera
nice.
2 masters of
Mhm.
directors of videography.
That's it.
Yes.
We had Jules and Annabelle in the cool down area, and we had other people dotted around for information. And Braden, I said that he was on athlete, morale boosting, and
Okay.
nutrition.
Yes. And nutrition, very important.
So important to stay hydrated. Make sure
not
that
just
I had
loading you up with Hawkstones before you get on, is he?
no
That's
the
the
funnel.
secret.
hydration, and we had snacks, and we had everything there ready, sorted. Yeah. So I feel like that's fairly
And those
transferable.
both have come from
Yeah.
futsal. So, and just before we dive out of that, can I just quickly just do a quick piece on the camera? Quick shout out, Dwayne, to your mum, Erlinda. I miss her and I love her. And the next time you see her, give her a big kiss from me. So thanks.
And I haven't met the woman, but pass on the same regards. Heard great things. Thanks, mate.
All right. Well, that was lovely shoehorn. You got a few surprises for me tonight,
Yeah,
mate.
we
Yeah,
do.
that's cool.
Should we fire on through? Oh, I just want to. Can I just indulge a second while we're at Matangi before we move on?
Yeah.
Can you just talk a little bit about where you got the business to and the horses before we left?
So I had a couple of good horses through uni. Rickaridge Escada, and then Rickaridge Peekaboo, who we had bought on a whim, Dad and I, on the way down to Taupo 3-day, tried a 3-year-old. And this was a little bit prior, but obviously at Matangi he was part of our team. And on the way back from Taupo 3-day, picked him up without a vetting and took him home. So he was around. We had Hinton After Dark, who was a horse that I hadn't yet learned to ride, but then later learned a lot of transferable skills that I used on other horses. And then we accumulated Rickaridge Divine Right. So suddenly we actually had 3 or 4 4-star horses, which was giving me a huge amount of experience, a huge amount of profile. We were building a business. We had girls working for us. We were learning how to manage staff, learning how to make it all work, because it doesn't all really work, so we're fitting it all together. I think at times we had like 19 horses on the property between 3 of us, and I got my lorry license, and it was manic. But I mean, it's manic now, so I don't think that much has changed. But yeah, we had upper level horses. We had a business, producing, selling, helping other people, schooling, giving lessons. Really invested in the staff that were helping us and working for us, and I feel like elements of that still continue on as part of the cornerstones of what we do.
Lovely. Yeah, I think that's a good time to bring in our next fan question. So if I throw it over to you, Ellie.
Of course. Good one lined up. Here's Dale.
Hi, this is Dale.
Big fan of the show.
Big fan of the show. From early on, you've built a reputation for being able to successfully produce young horses up through the ranks. In your opinion, what is the most important consideration or principle for success in doing this? And which horse has been the most challenging and rewarding for you, and why?
Oh, Dale. Coming in with the tough ones.
Big questions.
Isn't he? Great man, by the way.
Hell of a
Great man. I think it's really hard to pick one element because it feels like the whole package. But I think if I had to pick one, and it feels incomplete saying one element, I have to say, because I don't think that this is the one reason. But the one thing I think you can't do without, like, you cannot have an uncareful horse in our sport. It is just so important for cross-country safety, first and foremost, that you can gallop down to a vertical fence and drop the rein, and they want to make a shape, and they want to have a good front end.
And they want to get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but, then on the final day, it's a really tough sport at the best of times, and the hours that we put in. So coming out on the final day and hoping, you only have 2 down is just not a place that I personally ever want to be in. And whilst those journeyman horses are really useful to get us to a point, the horses that perhaps aren't so careful in the show jumping, they definitely have a place in people's teams. But if I'm choosing a horse right now with the experience and career that I've had, I cannot afford to have horses that are not careful.
So his follow-up piece was, is there a horse that you have produced that was particularly difficult or rewarding, I think it stands out for you?
I think probably Lord Seekenig has been both difficult and rewarding. So interestingly, he was the first horse that I actually didn't produce from scratch. So traditionally, I'd always bought them as 5 or 6 year olds, and then done the whole journey with them. So this was a step in a different direction where we'd sold a young horse and used that money to buy a more experienced horse, together with Sharon Honnis at the time. And this horse had been competing in Ireland at 3-star long level with a young rider called Alex Power. And I loved the horse when I tried it, but it didn't feel like my own horse for a long time, for probably 12, 18 months. And so it took a long time to get to know him. He's quite a shy, worried personality. His mascot is Piglet from Winnie the Pooh because he's always anxious and always scared, but then he's brave, you know, because of that. He's brave because he faces his fears. So it took a long time to get to know him, and then not only that, it took a very long time to get flying changes on him. He was consistently late and consistently worried and late, which was tough. So working through those took a long time. So that was really rewarding now to be on the other side of that. I think he's a world-class horse. I think he's got the capacity to go and do low 20s on the flat. I've always said that, and he's delivered that at Bicton. So I'm hoping that that's all going to continue in the right direction. But every horse has been both challenging and rewarding at the same time. Sooty's probably been the most easy out of them. But then that has its own challenges because he's so obedient that any mistake you have is your fault. You know? So that's challenging in a different way.
Yeah. And great that you've just outed yourself to everyone now. So if you're ever watching Sooty and he makes a mistake,
it's all on me. Don't worry.
It's all on Sam. No, it happens to everyone.
Yeah.
Hey,
there was that time Braden was, you were riding a horse, went to Holt and Rainback.
Yeah.
So
Shout out Cabbage.
Yeah.
Shout out Cabbage.
Yeah.
With Rosie at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's not about me, Mitchell. Hey, that brings us nicely up to question 7, and that brings us to Bussemere. I'm keen just for you to paint a picture. We've been in the UK now, since 2019?
Yep.
So do you want to just do a flyover and bring us up to speed to where we are today?
Yep. So we flew over June, I think it was 2019, with 4 horses. We had a fairly wild
Do you want to go into
experience. Do we?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go. Do you know about this, Ellie? Mitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Go on, baby. You retell.
So about we were planning on bringing 2 horses at the time.
I need a beer for this one.
Yeah.
Hawkstone?
Yeah, mate.
Sooty and Rui. And then about a month before we left, this person out of the blue reached out. And I'm not even going to, I don't think we're even going to give her a name.
I can't remember
because
her name.
it's so frustrating. And we don't want to give her any, I don't know, credit. But this person came out of the blue and said that they wanted to support our journey. So, I mean, these are the things dreams are made of, right? And it wouldn't be, whilst it would be a crazy story, it wouldn't be a particularly unexpected story if you've got a Kiwi wanting to do cool things on the world stage and someone reaches out and says they want to support. So it's not an unbelievable storyline.
Definitely not.
We had a few meetings with her, sat down, nutted out some details, and we had a meeting booked in with her accountants to sort out
Her bank manager.
bank manager to sort out finances. I'd had an email from her dad to say, so excited about the opportunity, welcome to the family. So there was a lot of, backing up details and everything. Anyway, as it turns out, and so we booked 4 horses on the plane.
Can we just touch on, because it's such a big move to make from literally the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come cheaply to get horses from New Zealand to England.
Yeah.
What price at the time are we looking at to get one horse?
I think it was
from
about
England,
25,000 New Zealand dollars to get one horse over.
Yeah.
And so the whole exercise, I think, was maybe 110, about that with 4 horses for just the flight.
So
and so when someone comes knocking,
£50,000.
saying they're keen to help you out on this, who's going to say no? You're like, oh my God.
Yeah,
yes.
and we were, genuinely so thankful for the opportunity. I was in
flying
tears, you know.
Yeah.
She was, and she was really, I say invested in inverted commas, but you know, she was screenshotting stuff saying, I've just ordered this and sent it to the, you know, we'll send it to the address back home. Like, there was a lot of detail. And she was quite a eccentric person in person, which kind of fitted that kind of money, you know, aura, everything. Anyway, a week before we left, she disappeared.
Just out of the blue.
Just out of the blue, disappeared. Didn't get touched. And in fact, I'm pretty sure we went to the bank.
Yeah, we were sat.
Yeah,
we were sat waiting to meet her at the bank, and she never showed up.
No.
Yeah.
I know, it's crazy. And we'd booked 4 horses to fly over. I mean, in hindsight, it sounds we're crazy.
Yeah.
But
But like
I was there
leading up to it. She's been so like
I was there.
invested.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we're gonna do it. It's gonna be great.
I mean, I know I was like we were communicating every day.
Yeah.
Every day. It was like we'd, anyway, wild. Anyway, so she never turned up. And then turns out she was a con artist.
Yeah.
And a mentally ill person.
Okay.
Who I genuinely think believed that she was this character.
Right.
So it wasn't necessarily done out of spite or out of bad intentions.
Yes.
I think in her mind, a certain element of it was true.
Yeah.
And she in her world, she was helping us and supporting
she was.
us.
And then when
When
crunch time
came,
and then all of a sudden she's
yeah.
And I think
like,
it's important to
figured
say,
out,
you know, we're sharing this because it's part of our journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's a real thing that happened.
Yes.
And it's a sad story, really, for her to put herself in that position. You know, and we, feel sorry for her, for that side of it.
Yes.
But the reality is it really affected us.
Yeah.
You know, we made a massive commitment.
Yeah.
You'd sold all your horses pretty much and everything we had to make the move over. And the money that we'd invested in the flights, that was supposed to just see us through the first 6 months in the UK.
Yes.
And we, we found ourselves like, all right, well, we're all in, we're taking 4 horses, and then we just got to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we just took a leap and went anyway. I remember I could barely eat that week. We were so stressed, and everything tasted like charcoal in my mouth, and it was wild. But anyway, so we just decided to do it and try and make it work. And whilst it was still very challenging and hard, it also opened up a huge amount of opportunities because I was competing twice the amount of time. Our funding lasted half the amount of time, which meant that we had to work doubly hard to work out what we were doing to make ourselves sustainable and try and make ends meet. But yeah.
And how have you then come from New Zealand and ended up at this place?
Yeah, so initially, the first 3 months, we went and stayed at Blythe Tate's old yard, which was, funnily enough, your yard,
whose is
Mitchell.
that yard? Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Hey.
So with Ginny.
Anytime. Yeah.
And so started there, which was tough in its own way because I was dropping myself into my friend's system, which was weird and challenging, but also great to have the support of you guys and to just fit into someone else's world and follow that around for a bit. And then the opportunity came up that James Avery had left this yard. So this yard was built for Jock Paget.
Yeah.
And James had taken over the yard, had outgrown it, and then was moving on. And Jock gave me a tap on the shoulder and said, maybe this would suit you. So we came and checked it out, and we've now been here. Is it 5.5 years probably here?
Yeah.
Based at Joji Animals Place, and very thankful to be here. And we've really made it our home.
Yeah. And it is a bloody cool place, isn't it, Ali?
Pretty
First time you've
gorgeous.
been out here, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's a
And-
nice drive as well. Like the roads are lovely. You've got your new house, which is going to be pretty close soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. Just down the road.
Yeah.
So lots happening.
Really
Great
nice
little pub
setup.
down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Crown and Anchor.
Yeah.
Recorded a few pods there.
Yeah.
So it does bring us to today. I'm wondering if can you paint a picture of the team, horses and people?
Horses and people. So people-wise, we have 2 permanent full-time members of staff, and those are both Kiwis. So we have
Yes.
Caitlin Freeman. She's been with us 3 years now. Started off as as basically a rider and a
Yes.
homegrown, and then it ended up having to step up to head groom and basically manager of everything when Fran broke her leg, sadly,
Yes.
in a skiing accident.
Ruptured ACL.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Bloody
yeah.
skiing,
Would
isn't
have
it?
gone pro.
Would have gone pro.
skiing,
Yeah.
but ruptured ACL.
Yeah.
Shut up, Fran.
So Fran had an abrupt end to her career with us, and Caitlin had really big shoes to fill and had to
Yes.
step in, and then has been here now tries to manage both riding. So she's currently at Anik with 2 horses and 3-star, but she's also grooming as our head girl and doing everything for us. So
Yeah, she has stepped up.
Yeah.
man.
Big
She
time,
is an
hasn't she?
operator.
She is, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got, I'm not even in your yard, and I know how much, she, I don't know, runs the place.
yeah, she does.
basically.
She's balls.
Yeah,
Along
she
with
is.
having time to compete a couple of her own horses.
Yeah.
I don't know how she does it.
Yeah,
Great woman.
yeah, she
Great
is.
one. A lot of time for
Fantastic.
Caitlin.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go, Caitlin. Enjoy that one.
And then Kelly, who's brand new,
Yes.
pretty much she arrived maybe 8 weeks ago with a horse from New Zealand. And she's just stepping up to 4-star level and plans on being here long term and having a crack properly as a rider.
Yeah.
So that kind of next generation, along with Caitlin, exciting to support those next Kiwis coming through in their own journeys. And thankful to be able to help them along their way as
Yeah.
they help us with our journey. So it's a nice relationship. And then we end up with one sort of temporary staff member that comes around sort of for 4 to 6 months at a time, and they could be from anywhere, but often they are from New Zealand because
Yep.
Kiwis or Aussies might like to come over, check it all out, see if it's for them, go back home, learn a bit about themselves, and then make a plan for their future. So we kind of have a rotating third staff member. And
Yep.
occasionally there's a bit of crossover like we have 4 right now,
Yep.
because Alex, who's been here for the last 4 months, is leaving, and Millie's just starting. So
Okay.
so that's
Bloody-
It works good.
people.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It works well.
Sounds like a good system.
Yeah.
And then when we were setting up here, there were, I don't know, a few horses clippity-cloppeting their way up to the
Clippity-clopping.
field.
Yeah, I think we have 14
Mhm.
on the yard right now.
Yeah.
The cool part about this year is that a lot of my horses that I'm riding are upper level horses. So we have the 2 5-star horses, Lord Seakonig and Ricka Ridge Sooty GNZ. They're both been with us a while now, aiming for WEG. Charlie's off to Aachen next month, which is very exciting. So we get a bit
Yeah.
of pre-WEG practice in, so that's good. And then below them, we now have 3 other 4-star horses. Delarado was a new ride for me for the last 18 months. She's an 11-year-old horse that's just gone 4-star level. She's super cool, very careful, love the front end, and really excited about her journey. She was 3rd at Royal Jump.
Yep.
Then Billy Alberto is a horse that I picked up the ride on in January, actually. So
Yep.
a recent addition to our team. And his mascot is Melman, the giraffe from Madagascar,
Oh, yeah.
because he's definitely like a hypochondriac and just a bizarre kind of a person, but
Yeah,
so
yeah.
genuine, and you love him at the same time. And he doesn't love dressage, so
Right.
we're doing quite a lot of work on the flat, hoping to sort of get him to that sub 35 bracket. But he's an exceptional cross country horse, so he's. Yeah, he is weird. You know, I can't really get him on the bit.
Yeah.
But then you go around cross country and it's like he looks for the flags, and
Yeah.
you just lean a bit this way, he goes that. He's like a motorbike, really.
And everything is forgiven from
yeah,
the day before.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So that's exciting, and thankful to have that opportunity from Ali Spence. And then we have Qantas, who's been a horse that I have produced since a 5-year-old, and he's now 9. So he had a pretty exceptional 7-year-old year where he won a heap of stuff and was 5th at the World Champs. And then we had a fairly quiet year last year, and then he's come out this year firing. So he took the win in Royal Jump.
Yeah.
And I really rate him as a proper both championship horse and Badminton Burley type, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
That's
That
cool.
is bloody cool.
Yeah. And then we have Kitty, who's a 7-year-old who is owned, or was bred by Kate Maitland, who actually
Yes.
owns half of Delarado alongside Rachel Bessel. And Kate has actually bred both Darcy and Kitty.
Okay.
And Kitty is Darcy's daughter, which is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So that's quite cool. So a 7-year-old coming through, and then 2 3-star horses, Malibu TS, who I bought last year, who we've produced to 3-star level. She's an 8-year-old. And then Lucas Stone, who I bought via Equi Ratings in January. And he was at 3-star short level last year with a rider in Finland. And so a bit the similar kind of journey as Charlie, getting to know a new horse that I haven't produced from scratch. But actually this partnership has clicked really quickly, and he feels like my horse already. So he's just done the 3 long at Bicton.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's a good little
It's a
string
lot.
you got going. Yeah,
It's a lot, Mitchell.
it is.
Yeah.
It is a bit.
I got a little fatigued listening to you there,
Yeah.
wife. Yeah, I forgot we had some of those.
Yeah. And those are only mine, and then the girls have
Yeah.
a few each, and
Yeah.
and then a couple of schoolers in and stuff
Then
like
it
that.
goes on.
Yeah.
And that does, you mentioned Equi Ratings
Yep.
in there. That does bring us on to our next question,
Okay.
which is just another word. It just says Equi Ratings.
Okay.
So,
We were a bit lazy on the questions tonight, to be honest.
yeah.
But you get the gist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, you're picking up what we're laying down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Equi Ratings.
Yeah.
Hit me.
Well, like having been a bit of a geek at uni, and always really enjoying the analysis and the strategy side of things, I really always actually admired Equi Ratings as a company, and a bit of a fangirl. And then
You and me both.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, right? And then Sam Watson had approached me at a horse show to say that they were moving into the horse sales area, which my ears pricked, because horsepower's always been an interest for me and something I've dedicated a lot of time into. And so, one thing led to another, and now I'm part of their team helping to source and match horses and riders, loving combining the statistics with my own eye,
Yes.
loving waiting for the new results to come through to refresh, to see what other,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
7-8-year-olds we might find for people, and really enjoying that. So I feel like it's only the start of that relationship, and I think we've got a long way to go together.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
So you're doing more like high performance partnerships. You're not
Yeah.
going to find me a horse.
I won't find you a
No.
horse, no.
Ali, what do you reckon? You
Yeah.
looking for a horse?
I was going to, and then I'm spending the money elsewhere.
Probably.
But maybe in the future.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? Ali's a better rider than I.
That's it's amazing how you
Amazing
read
how I pick things up.
you read between the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is amazing, babe. Equi Ratings data driven. You know, can you just from your perspective, how does data meet intuition, and like how does it all fit together? Because data alone, it's going to guide you to the right place, I imagine. But I imagine they're not trying to say we can predict the future.
No, but you do have an indication, and I guess that's what they're leaning on. Is they're trying to give you a pool of horses that fit a criteria that could go on, and then
Yes.
from that pool you use your intuition to decide on the horse. So we have the ability to search and filter through all of the 8,000 horses that compete at FEI level, and through that filter system we can set the parameters in age, in show jumping statistics, cross country dressage. And for me, linking back to what I said at the start, the show jumping is really interesting, because a good jumper is a good jumper. And yes, riders might make mistakes, but a good horse is going to leave the rails up. So that's a priority for me, is looking for horses with good jumping statistics. And then I don't care what the dressage statistics are, or sometimes the cross-country statistics, because people can make mistakes. But then when the videos come in and people say this horse is for sale, then you
Yes.
use your eye to analyse, does this look like it's a horse that could go on?
So you're seeing the video of this horse, looks like a great jumper, but it's had a rail or two. At the last couple of shows, you're like, meh. Riders make mistakes. Looks like a great jumper.
I think it's important to use the right statistics, and that's
Yes.
what they do. So it's on average. So you're not going to care about one event. Like, for example, even the horse that I bought, he had one event we had 4 down, and that doesn't bother me because it's an outlier.
No, that's an out. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas you're looking for trends, and you're looking for I guess just an above average jumper
Yes.
that could be a very good horse.
And I find the interesting thing is you're looking at the whole pool, not just what's on the market.
Yes.
So is that right?
So we start to filter down, and that's where the magic happens. And it's quite cool to watch Sam Watson put in the parameters that you might decide. So you might be looking for a 8 and 9-year-old horse to go to LA. Put in the parameters, and it goes from 8,000 to 6,000 to 5,000, and you end up with about 200.
Yes.
And then from that 200, Rosie, who I work with, will reach out to all of those people to see, is that horse for sale, and if it is, at what price, or would you sell? What kind of a price would it take?
Yeah.
And then we gather all that information, and you get the full market picture. So if you're shopping, you can actually see what is the average price of an 8, 9-year-old on the market at the moment, competing at 3-star level. Why is that one so cheap? Why is that one so expensive? And you get the full picture, which is cool.
Proper geek, eh?
Yeah, proper geek.
How good.
And it embarrasses me to say I feel like I'm following the same kind of lines.
You enjoying it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, boy.
I'm getting down there.
You-
That's my kind of thing.
You are.
Yeah.
Open your phone right now into Safari and tell me that.
Ooh.
Close private browsing. Go back into regular browsing and tell me that the top tab is not eventing scores.
If it's not that, it could be HorseQuest.
All right, we're going to do a live read just while Mitch is finding
Well,
out.
actually, it's Rich and Stell.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Looking
good.
at scores.
What I should say while he's doing that is you can probably hear what sounds like a vacuum cleaner in the background. We're currently sitting outside the yard, and the girls are just finishing up, so they've got the leaf blower out.
G'day, Kelly.
So that's just the ambience that you can hear. We are getting close to the end. Before we do, should we throw to Ali for the final fan questions?
Of course. I feel like I'm going to play a sting as well.
Oh, yeah,
Hold
go on,
on.
get it in.
Beeflots Hotline.
We need one every episode, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
At
At
least. Megan and Toby here.
Hey guys, Megan and Toby here, big fans of the show. Huge congratulations to Sam for an amazing couple of months. Our question for you is, you have a pretty epic team of horses at the moment. If you were to build your dream 5-star horse from them, what traits would you pick from who and why?
Love it. Okay, I think we're going to start with the legs.
Okay.
We're going to go with
Yes.
Charlie's legs.
Yes.
They're long and
Yep.
elegant and beautiful.
All right, we got Charlie's legs.
All right.
We've got
We're
Charlie's
going the
legs.
whole dang horse.
We've got Sooty's heart,
Yes.
obviously.
Okay.
I think we've probably got Qantas's bravery.
Yes.
You know, he's
Yes.
just like, whatever.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
point and shoot, and his scope and length of stride. But then we probably need Darcy's rideability, because Qantas,
Okay.
that, you know,
Yes.
sometimes with that bravery we lose a bit of rideability.
Yes.
And probably, if we were to be picky, Bertie's nonchalantness.
Oh, really?
You know,
Yes.
cross country, just
Just like, yeah,
whatever,
let's go
bro.
do it.
Yeah,
He's a chill guy.
yeah.
Okay.
This sounds like a game of top trumps for horses.
Sorry?
Have you ever played top trumps?
No.
You've
No, never heard of it.
So many listeners will be like, trumps.
Ellie is on the money. Again, producer
It's,
Ellie never misses.
she never misses. It's a card game where you have different like character cards,
Oh, yeah.
and they are scored according to different things.
Mhm.
So you have to like trump other cards based on.
That sounds fun.
So you could be like rideability 10 for a horse that has. Do you know what I mean? So you were saying
Yeah.
like big heart.
Yeah.
And
It's
then I
like-
could play my rideability 11.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they've never made a horse
Pokemon.
version.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Maybe
I
that's our
think.
moneymaker.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Cut this piece, Ellie. We're going to save this. I'm going to pay
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Nice. Whose head are you taking?
Whose head? Malibu.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's so pretty.
Pretty.
Yeah.
You've done well to get a little piece of everyone.
Yeah. Whose
You know.
tail? Haven't done a tail.
Luca?
Yeah,
Oh,
there we go.
Has he got a good tail?
He's got a great
Oh,
tail.
yeah. There we go. I think we quit there where you've got a little bit of
Yeah,
everyone.
have we forgotten a horse? What about hooves? Oh, I'm kidding. Let's get out of here.
Well, I think there's a little follow-up. What do we got?
Ooh, this is the one that
And
I.
it-
No,
if-
don't-
If they are a follow-up, I think they need to be a really big fan of the show. Have you got one for anyone that's a really big fan of the show?
Do you know what? Oh, it is. Blimey, that is a big fan of the show. I don't like that sting because I
It's
think
my
it sounds.
I love it.
No, but it
Actually,
sounds a little bit.
it probably comes second to my wife now.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think it sounds a little bit like it's coincidence. It sounds a bit too much like me.
No.
It's
No.
perfect, Ellie.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
makes me nervous. Anyway, there's more. Try again. There he
Bonus
is.
question: how much would you have to be paid to jump into a really spiky cactus?
We heard that, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Oh God. So we've just been to Morocco for 4 days, which was planned before we were going to Lamoulan. So I was a little bit nervous going away right before a 5-star. Turns out, didn't matter.
Yeah.
Listen to the confidence.
Yeah, I love it.
Turns out.
But
Halo
anyway,
effect.
Sounds
Halo effect.
only because it's Sudi and he knows his job and I know him so well. It's been in nearly a decade. So anyway, in Morocco, and we're walking round the gardens, and there's a lot of cacti around, and there was a particularly spiky one, and Braden asked the question, how much would you have to be paid
This is the personality I
Yeah.
have.
to jump
These are the things I'm bringing up on holiday.
the bringer of vibes.
Yeah.
Into
is
the
coming up with
cactus.
fucking weird
Yeah, what's your
questions.
number though? What is your number?
What is it? How?
Yeah.
What size of cactus?
Yeah, I need
how,
to
How spiky?
This was
Picture
like
this
a
cactus.
proper,
I'm
like,
guessing you've spotted.
it was like a
cactus.
bed. It was
Bed.
like it was a
Yeah,
full
I think I would
couch.
say a 2 meter.
I think that's
squared.
better than
Oh, yeah.
one cactus
Bed of
because
cacti.
if you're thinking about pressure, force, and area, lots of
No, I'm not, Ellie.
You
That's
know?
not what I'm thinking about.
lots of cacti needles actually
Yes.
would have less impact than
Yes.
like a few very spiky ones.
Yes, I
There
hear
was a couple of funny things off this though,
Yeah.
because from the get go, it's blatantly obvious Braden is just asking this question for attention, and
It's not like Braden. No.
but secondly, it's ironic that he's the one asking the question because he's the most risk averse person we all know.
Oh my God, yeah.
Basically, he's talking the talk.
He's talking the talk, and I said from the get go, no, I don't think I'd do it. And like it would have to be a stupid amount of money.
Yeah, well, what's your number? What's your number then?
Yeah,
is
what is a stupid amount of money though?
I think, what did I say? I think I wouldn't have done it for less than 10 grand or something.
it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
I probably would have doubled it, 20.
Yeah.
Anyway, you started somewhere at like 5.
Yeah, I think I ended at like 2.5. Like really.
Yeah, really low.
Really?
Like, I'd
And
go to 2.5 grand. There you go. Right now. Just jump on that cactus. She'll be right.
Probably not.
Probably
Yeah.
should be.
Probably not.
We
for
come from
2.5
different
grand.
backgrounds, kid. All right.
the other funny part of this was that Megan just assumed you had to be naked for this show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is just hilarious.
Yeah.
And that was just highly entertaining. So just to clarify, you don't have to be naked for the challenge.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to add that having researched it, of course, Braden's risk-averse personality
Yes.
said no, absolutely he would not do it because then he read you might have to get the spikes
Yes.
removed and go to
Surgically
hospital.
removed.
Yes, yes.
But that was where I got to. I said, I think I'm 2.5 grand, but I reserve judgment until I've understood the risk.
Yeah.
Like I want to know what are the So that's when we went
Yeah.
to
So now you've
ChatGPT.
understood the risk.
Yeah, and
What's your number?
No, I wouldn't do it at all. No, I wouldn't do it. ChatGPT said like upwards of 10 grand based on, and it had a full breakdown. So yeah.
Here's a question then. Would you do it if it meant Sam won Burley this year?
Take my chances. Nah.
Fair. Yeah. Okay.
Take my chances.
I'll have to do
Anyway.
it without you, babe.
Hell of a question from Toby.
How
Big
good.
fan of the show there.
How good.
And we do actually have one or two others.
We've got a couple.
Oh my goodness.
Lined
how-
up.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, it was quite a long drive here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, it
go
wasn't really, but we were
It
like,
was.
it's not fair. Braden can't just interview his wife and not be under
on.
the
Oh,
spotlight.
me?
You know? So we did plan a little ambush. Would you like to start, Mitch?
I think start off with that first fan
Oh
question.
my goodness. If we've got any listeners left at this point, sorry.
Here's
Hi guys, it's Chris here, super fan of the pod. My question is actually for both Sam and Braydog. With both you being international athletes, both performing at the high level, I'd wonder who does the chores at home? How do you guys split it up? I can just imagine Big Daddy there at the sink washing up and Samantha cooking up a storm. So I just wanted to work out how you guys divide the evening chores, washing, cleaning, cooking. And obviously as well, a huge congratulations to Sam. Amazing couple of weeks.
Get off it,
You
Chris.
are the queen. And
Get out of here.
we
Get
love
out of
cheering you on at home and can't wait to
get
see
your
how
hand off it,
far
Chris.
you continue to get
Thanks,
with the
Chris.
world domination of the
He's
eventing
still
world.
going. He's still
With
going.
What a
Big Bray
guy.
Doggy by your side.
Did you hear what he just called you?
Ray
The
Doggy.
Bray
Hey,
Doggy.
doggy.
Speak to you guys soon. Thanks.
He knows
Thanks,
Braden
mate.
well.
Thanks, mate. Shout out Chris Grassick, big
Yeah.
fan of the show. Hell of a man.
Hell of a man. Hell of a man. Also had a run at Royal Ascot today.
Did he ever run?
Did you know that?
Chris
Yeah.
is a racehorse trainer, by the way.
Racehorse trainer. Hell of a guy.
Down in Lambourne.
Yeah.
And second only to Wallace, who is the greatest thing in his life.
Yeah.
Can I just go on the record and say that? Babe, do you want to start?
Yes, I would have to put my hand up and say I have many qualities,
Yes.
but housewife is probably not high on those list of qualities.
Yes.
Which has been a constant thorn in our side in our relationship, I would say. I try quite hard, but I know that I am less than adequate.
Braden,
I think we
you're not
have
not going to
found a
tell her that.
reasonably
No,
good
she's
balance.
amazing and great.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, there was a point there. There was this little moment of silence, and I was like, "This is the point where Braden should go. No, you're amazing,
Hey,
just as
listen.
you are."
Listen, Ellie. I'm under no illusion that Sam is doing the blue job in this relationship. She is out there fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Wrangling horses, getting it done. Bringing home the bacon. So shut up, babe. Appreciate that. And hey, listen, if your whites need to be soaked,
Yeah. What are you going?
Oh well, I'm going for the I would say nappy sand. I don't even know the brand. The Tesco
Yeah.
whitener. I've
Oh,
got a
yeah.
little
Okay.
bucket set up and
Yeah.
leave that overnight and then do it in the
Okay.
whitewash, long
Yeah.
wash 3 hours.
Yeah.
Just
yes,
to
3
really
hours,
get it
yeah.
done.
How long are we soaking? Just overnight.
Overnight, I'm soaking
Oh,
overnight.
yeah.
How long are you soaking?
Yeah, I was doing the same. Actually. Yeah.
Are you doing this for
yeah,
Jenny?
Yeah. She's got a baby to look after.
Your
I've got a baby to look after. I've got 2 people to look after.
Amazing. And I naturally lean towards that, don't I? The old keeping the house tidy and cooking and the cleaning and But we work well, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
You
Good.
do. We've got another one.
Oh, we do. I actually haven't heard this because it came
Yeah.
in pretty late. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey team, I had a question for Braden and Sam. So they say opposites attract. How do you guys feel like you're different? And how do you guys feel like you're similar? And why do you think that makes it work so well for the both of you?
That's a cute question.
Yeah, it's great questions from the. I'm
From the
calling her the
Batesy.
Ogfots. The Ogfots.
What a ledge.
I reckon she needs a sting, by the way.
Helen Bates
yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Her own sting.
Yeah.
Bates Saddlery. Brought to you by Helen Bates. Something like that.
Right, the question was opposites and
Yes.
how we're similarities and differences. Please
Yes.
describe. I would say we've already talked about me being pro risk, you being
Yes.
fairly risk averse. We have already talked about you being really disciplined and really good house husband. Me definitely lacking in that area.
I'm really being painted out to be a real fun guy.
Oh yeah. Hey, this is the picture you've painted for yourself.
I stand by it.
But on the flip side, I would say we've also mentioned, but to summarize, that you're a great communicator. Even when I am significantly lacking, Braden is the one, giving my parents a call or giving an owner a call or flicking a message to people to update them when I'm in my zone, in my world, which is very much appreciated. And I think I always hold myself accountable to your standard of humanity, which sounds outrageous, but I always know that if there's something I don't want to tell Braden, then I've got to own it and I've got to tell him,
Yeah.
because I have to live with it and I'm living to his standard, which is cool. Makes me a better person.
Oh,
That's real nice, isn't
that
it?
is so
Very nice.
That's real nice. Thanks,
That
babe.
is so nice. And good to hear that there is like a nice side to Braden. No, I'm kidding. we love
Breaking
you.
news.
Who
And-
would have thought?
I would say we are quite different, but we agree on.
Principles.
Yeah, we agree fundamentally on stuff, but how we go
Okay.
about it is very different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very different, which is good. I would say, yeah, without you, I'd probably lack a little bit of purpose or direction.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm here for a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Which you're here for a good time, but I'm here for a good time. You know, and whereas you've got the focus to be like, that's not important. This is where we're going. And so I'll be like, oh, this will be fun, and let's do the best we can in this area. Whereas you'll just be like, I'm not doing that. We're going here. You know,
Yeah.
I'm getting horsepower. I'm just not going to do the washing. I'm going to buy a horse. You
Yeah.
know, so without your direction, I'd be a bit lost. And then maybe I give you a bit of a perspective along the way.
Yeah.
So we work good.
Grounding.
Yeah, we're a good team. Man, people
Yeah.
have really... I didn't realise this was going to... I mean, it's my wife.
Yeah.
This is my wife.
So good.
So
So
I
good.
probably should have seen it coming, but
Yeah.
we've really punished people with a lot of us chat tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's been the cringiest episode we've ever had. We might just delete the whole thing.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, do you know what
To
I've
be
just
fair.
realised?
Yeah.
The girls have finished doing the yard,
Yeah.
and I was like, why haven't they left? But we're sat right in front of their car.
Oh no.
So they can't drive down. So I'm sorry, Alex. I've just realised we'll wind this thing up. We have one last question, so maybe if you can just breeze over it quickly, and it's just what's planned for the rest of the year?
Cool. So off to Aachen next month, and then 2 for Burley, and then 2 or 3 for Blenheim 8 and 9-year-olds.
Is that a thing this year?
Yeah.
Is it?
8 and 9s, yes.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
they
Not the normal full long because
Yes.
the Europeans.
Okay.
Are they going to
Yeah,
keep the
yeah.
8 and 9s?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we have 2 for Buccalo,
Mm-hmm.
potentially 1 or 2 for Stragon,
Mm-hmm.
potentially 1 for Poe,
Cool.
and potentially 1 for Lilion.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's the year.
Sounds bloody good.
Cool.
Good way
Question
to
10.
finish it off. Yeah.
Done.
Done.
Let's get out of here.
Well,
But first,
we just quickly have to
first
tick off.
we've got another. No, we don't. We're
No.
done
Still
for
going.
fan questions.
No.
Just a little bit of admin that we tick through every week.
I'll do one. You do one. All
Yeah.
right. First of all,
I'm going to go Yeti this week.
Okay. I'll do Cotswold Fox.
Yeah. So you've been drinking that delicious Hawkstone out of that great little Yeti Rambler.
Yep.
And co-branded with Eventing Weekly, Mitch and Braden on the front.
Beautiful.
One of those is yours to take home.
Thanks.
We've got white or blue.
White, definitely.
Perfect, because I don't have any
Good.
blue with me.
Yeah, perfect. That'll do.
And then in addition to that, babe, Jemima at Cotswold Fox is going to hook you up with any piece of Cotswold Fox you want.
Sweet.
Go online, find a product, point it to me on your phone, and I'll
get it done.
tell Jemima to send it to my house. Sound good? And for everyone out there who wants some Cotswold Fox, you can get 15% off using our Eventing Weekly discount code, which is Eventing Space Weekly. Is
Too
that it?
easy. I think so.
Perfect.
We'll get a photo tonight.
Yes, we will. Alex,
we've-
can you take a photo for us? Perfect. So we can get a photo done.
Yeah, easy.
Producer Ali, anything that you've got left on your list?
It's been a long list, but I
Yeah.
think we've completed it.
Yeah, we've had 2 lists tonight, haven't we? It's been a little bit confusing, but we got
It's been fine.
there. My lists are looking good.
Perfect. All right. Well, I think we've punished people for long enough, babe. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out. It was fun to chat
No
to
worries.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Very different vibe tonight. I hope people enjoyed it. If not, sucked in.
Yeah.
All good.
If not, we'll be back next week with someone else.
Yeah, you just wait.
You
Big
watch-
guest lineup.
yeah. Yeah.
Big guest.
I
All
know
right.
who they are.
Samantha Lissington, thanks, mate.
Hi, this is Laura Collett, and you are listening to Season 3 of Eventing Weekly with Mitch and Braden.
Oh, I just sit on my microphone cord at the same time, and that really hurt.
Here we go. We're done.
Really good.
Let's get out of here.